What's poppin' in the streets, everybody? I believe therefore I'm KingSylartv. Hope you're doing all right today. We're back with another interview. Appreciate y'all rocking with us today. Before we get started, most importantly, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Any subscribe that you give me helps put strength in my feet, gives me energy. I'm old, I'm a CDL driver. Everything is broken. My arm is messed up, my knee is messed up. I can't run. I've got 6 kids scattered across the country. One subscribe will help me. Please, 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 please follow the content. My tag's right there for you. Like and leave me a comment. I don't care if it's good or not. If it's bad, you hate it, you like it, just send me a comment and then we'll press for it. That's all we need. But as you guys can see, we have a very interesting guest today. Somebody who is pretty much, as y'all know, there's Sylar. If there's a fat Sylar, then there obviously must be a skinnier, much more attractive and athletic Sylar. So clearly we have that guest today. Please give it up for Mr. Trest.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
Damn.
What's going on in the streets, brother man?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's because he's black.
You feel what I'm saying? So as you guys can see, we're all related in some capacity.
Yeah.
If you can see Jacory behind the camera, it's like Pokemon levels. Like it's like we evolve. And then when you get to junior size, that's like Mega Ultra, like when you start
like Super Saiyan 10.
Yeah, exactly. Broly. There we go. We're the Saiyan family. That's crazy.
Right. Just a bunch of niggas.
Yeah. So I get to be Vegeta since I'm the angriest, so that's just how it works. So I guess that makes hello monkeys. I had to put that little tag in there with Frieza. I don't care. The most racist anime character of all time. I don't care.
That is like the epitome of a dictator, and like it's almost like that's the type of character you need, to like know a representation of like evil, even if like they come in handy at some point and like help you out.
Yeah, right. You always gotta. There's that line there. Frieza's definitely that guy.
That guy.
But first and foremost, yeah, man. Thank you for being on the show. Appreciate
Thank you for having me, man. For real.
Most def. How's the day going? Tell me how you doing.
Well, I went to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I went to work late, and I was just like, I'm gonna just use my PTO today so I can get some rest.
Feel that.
You know, it's important for self-care. So I was like, today I'm gonna take care of myself. Went to work, did what I had to do, left that bit early. So it's a good day.
Right on.
You know, I was able to leave work early and kind of actually relax. At the job I'll be working at, I don't see sunlight much. So like, it's a big difference when you get to see sunlight.
I understand.
Yeah.
I was just telling people like, so today's Saturday, guys. I went to work at 1 a.m. Friday morning and then got off work at 6 p.m. yesterday, Friday. So I was literally there damn near 16 hours. And I thought about making a post, but it just like being a CDL driver and uploading or unloading, I literally felt like it was just 1 a.m. like 2 hours ago. It's just like, it's a long drawn out process, but it feels like time goes by like very
Time
quickly.
feels different.
Yeah,
Time feels different.
So, and of course it rained, so drawers, socks, hair was wet. Everything is the worst thing ever. So yeah, but you know, as they say, life of a dancer, athlete, you know, all that stuff, you gotta grind. So it is what it is, man.
You're an active father too, so it's like, you gotta be on top of it. It's like one of those things where I don't have kids yet, so I have the grace of like, okay, worrying about certain things, having priorities, you know, and like taking my time to get to them if I need be to worry about my health, you know. I can do that a little bit more. Then I think about, hey, if you have a kid, if you really care about that little nigga.
yeah.
You kind of gotta not do that. You gotta kind of not do that. You have to really consider like, you know, not sleeping as much, putting your health at risk at certain points, and then like, you know, doing hard shit. Yeah, you gotta do hard shit. So
yeah, that
big ups on that. That's for sure.
Man.
Big ups on that.
And they're not lying. The dad weight is a real thing. I don't care if nobody tells you. It's real. It's a real thing. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. As soon as Trinity got here, like I just put on like extra weight for no reason. And I was still very much active. That was the weird part about it. I was very much active in the gym and stuff like that. And all of a sudden just like an additional 20 pounds. Cause like I think all the way up until, so I'm 34, so 30 was when Trinity was here. I think I was walking around at like between 230, between 245. If I like really let go, as soon as Trinity got here, 260 is my normal walking weight.
Damn.
I'm just like
how long you think it took?
probably like in 7 months, like or 9 months for her to get here. As soon as we found out, it was just like, like the weight hit and stuff like that. And then of course, when she got here, it was like, okay, trying to get back into that rhythm of, health and fitness habits, before Trinity got here and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, I've been riding that line forever. So one of these days we'll get it back. We just got to find a better scheduled job.
It's a tough wall to climb because it's like, it does this, like manhood kind of does this in a way, where it's just like, if you're active when you're young and you got nothing to like really worry about, it's easy, right? Sometimes you might take it for granted. You just like, shit, I might even do much. Like, you sit around for 10 years, then you realize that it's starting to get a little bit harder to stay active, but that's just physically. And then you meet someone you like, right? You meet someone you like. And it's like one of those things, what happens is you get less active because of that. Naturally when you get into like situationships with people, you like spend more time with them and that takes into account the time you had to be active.
Oh yeah.
Then when you have a kid.
Yeah, it's funny because I conceptualize everything. I feel like getting into a relationship is like trying to jump over a hurdle, but it kind of catches your foot a little bit and you're kind of like, stuff still good.
Got it.
And then that kid comes in and then it's like, okay, well, there's a hurdle and then a water trap, but I can get that. It's no problem. I'll just land flat.
You
jump over it and you don't get it. You get caught and then it's like super deep. And then you're just like, oh, fuck. So now you're literally heavier because of the water weight and stuff like that. So that just, it never wears on you. So, or it never, it never gets any lighter in my opinion. Once Trinity starts getting older, then I think I'll be able to breathe more. But now I have to be responsible and be a nice dad. I want to conduct myself like, whichever, but conduct myself like the man that I would want her to find maybe one day. So I have to like definitely kind of keep myself in that realm. So yeah.
Right. That's not a quick thing to do.
It's not. It's
a patient.
It's a lifetime thing for sure. So how long have you been out here now? Has it been like, I know it's at least been like 6-7 months, right?
May? What is it? December now?
Yeah, it's December.
That's 6 months. No.
Probably
7 months.
7 months, yeah.
That's crazy. And the thing,
December, yeah, 7 months.
I was supposed to go back to Florida after the first month, but I changed my mind. I just stayed here.
Let's go. Let's go.
I changed my mind. Let's get it. I was just like, nah, like why? I don't need to go back right now, do I? Have nothing really, no rush to.
Right.
So, and I'm like a minimalist, so it was like, I didn't really need to go back for too many things, So it was like, but there's a couple of things I need to go back for. Right. But it was one of those things where I feel like this is one of the biggest changes I made in my life because I lived in Florida for 27 years.
Right. And
then I just moved here. 28 years actually. And I
How old
moved
are you?
here. 28.
20? Let's go.
Yeah, so I just literally like around the same time of my birthday, I was just like, all right, I'm in a different state.
20, if you make it 2 more years, if you make it to 30 without having kids, you'll be in the top 20% of men who've never been, if you haven't been incarcerated and you don't have any kids. Straight up.
Yeah.
20? Yeah,
20%?
20 if you make it to 20. 20, I think, and that it could be, I know that could be from black men. I don't know, but I know you, look, I know for a fact, if you make it to 30 years old, you ain't got no kids, you ain't been to jail, and you are clicking off top. I don't care what nobody tells you.
20%? That's a big one. Hold on. What do you have to do to get incarcerated?
For me, incarcerated, everybody goes to jail. I've been to jail at least like 3-4 times. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm talking like prison, like you've been gone for prison like me. You in there for 5 years, you gotta sit down is what they call it. You doing a bid. Yeah. That to me, that's, everybody been to jail. I don't count for me. I don't know if I can everybody.
I haven't been to jail.
That's a real one right there.
Like, I feel like
real one.
It's a lot of self-control. It's a lot of self-control, like in crucial moments, because there's many times where I could have gone to jail. But
I've been arrested twice for dance.
That's wild.
Trespassing on property because we had a session in Irving.
Yeah.
Got arrested for that. And then another time that when Neptune, Freedom, and Antics, they'll remember this because they were doing like a performance at UTD. They're all just dressed up like Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern. And I guess I had a warrant for an old ticket from Richardson, and they came and got me in the UTA parking lot or UTD parking lot. And they're like, "Yeah, you got a ticket, man. We got to take you." Took me to Richardson, and then it turns out I had like a few of the lingering tickets or whatever the case may be, and they're all for like parking and stuff, like nothing crazy or anything like that, but just earlier age, I just forgot. So yeah, it was one of them situations. So yeah, that sucked. It was not good. So
that's wild because I've done a lot of things that was worthy of me going to jail.
You know,
that's like I almost burned down houses. I was a wild kid. Like I almost have 3 houses in my name that almost got burned. Damn. I was a wild kid, but it was one of those like things where it's just like I was just playing around. Like it was like I was never trying to hurt somebody like that.
Right.
You know, I was just like, oh, I'm a pyro, play with fire. Or I'm someone that's gonna run around and do some wild stuff. Like I was like, I had my own line of Jackass before like Jackass really became a thing. Like, we just did wild shit.
Jackass. Hood nigga. Jackass in the hood nigga. Episode 1, we're just gonna start. We're gonna start off top. We'll burn a house. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we're gonna fight some alligators today.
There you go.
Man, Florida, you know.
Y'all Floridians, boy. Y'all. Is it really as wild as they say it is out there like that, bro?
I mean,
you gotta understand the rest. I feel like everybody says it, but I do feel like it's the United States and then Florida. Like y'all are a separate world, and y'all like we see y'all fighting alligators and stuff like that. Men walking down the street buck ass naked, but you got your gun on you and stuff like that. Like, y'all be doing some wild shit out there.
It's one of those things where, because I live there, you don't realize it. Like, it's like, you don't realize it's a normal thing. Like, and I've been in a lot of crazy, weird situations living in Florida. And it's like one of those things where it's like, I thought it was normal to like be in these situations as a person. Like, you just kind of go through them. You know, and it's just like, you don't see this much. Oh, and you heard this happened on the news in Florida. It's just like, I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. Like, you know, like, but it happened. Yeah. So it's like, when people talk about it, I'm like, what do you mean? It's not that bad. I heard some crazy stuff around other people, but now that I'm living in a different state, it's so funny because then it's like, I realize how much of that weird shit that y'all be seeing, y'all just like, why is Florida weird? I realize I have in me when I go in certain places and I'm just like, shit, like, my intrusive thoughts. They just want to do some random shit.
It's like act normal. Don't let them see.
Don't let me see me bug out for a second. And it's like, I want to have to explain myself, you know? Like if it's like too like, hey, did Trest just like, nah, it doesn't make sense, you know? But it's like, one of those like, I don't think, as long as it's never in bad nature, like you see like those things, like remember when someone ate that person's face in Florida, and it's like, everybody heard it and they thought it was zombie apocalypse was gonna happen. Yeah, like, I got ready.
That was some shit.
I got ready. Everybody thought a zombie apocalypse would happen when it happened. And then it's like a lot of other crazy shit happening. Didn't someone get eaten by a python in Florida? Like whole.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Exactly.
I mean, y'all got alligators in the middle of the road, like they're casually out there. I see them on the golf courses and crocodiles and stuff. And you know, crocodiles get up to like 12 to 13 feet, you know, in length and stuff like that. Just like, no, it's just Florida's just not a place I want to go.
Yeah, like, it's not that bad, honestly. You don't see them walking around anywhere. I myself haven't really seen an alligator walking around like that.
The one time that we went, we did see an alligator or a crocodile like on the side of the road because we went to I know we passed Tallahassee. Of course, we went to the beach. We also went to the Alabama, and that was like shaky as well. But we were just kind of circling around. And I can't remember what part of Florida that we're at, but I just remember that the water was dirty, and we definitely weren't in like Miami or anything like that. But I think we were kind of like closer, which is kind of funny to say, but like kind of close to the eastern coast versus like kind of southern. And I remember just being there. We saw like, there was a shark that was like chasing, like we saw a small shark literally chasing like a small fish because we could see it like hopping through like the water and stuff like that. And then literally you can see like the shark like chasing, you can see it like trailing like its fin going over there. And then we were about to leave. And then we were just driving, and then we seen kind of like this kind of greenish field. And my dad, he was cracking jokes. He's like, yeah, stay out of there, kids. You know, whatever, something might happen to you. And we're just like watching, and like we just kind of we get to this slow point. I guess like we're in the country, and I see it like just in the grass, and I'm like, yo, there's a fucking alligator there. And everybody just kind of looks over, and everybody's just like, not living here.
Nah,
Texas.
Wait, how long was you in there for? Like, how long was you in Florida for?
I mean, it was like, this is when I was like, I want to say I was like 16 or 17. So it was definitely I think we were there for like vacation, but it was like maybe like a week or so.
You've seen more shit than I have with a shark and alligator in a week. I have in 28 years. The
shark thing was weird because it literally was like, we were just sitting there, and my father was the one who spotted. He was like, what is that? And we just kind of like look, and luckily we were sitting in the sand, just like chilling, because I remember like the weather sucked. It felt like it was about to rain, and like nobody was out there. He was like, look at that. And I was like, what? He's like, what is that? And I'm like, what is that? And we kind of like stand up, and we're kind of just like, what is that? And we just see like little fish just go, jump into the water. And I'm like, what is he running from? You see the fin, just get up. I was like, oh, no, see, it's a wrap. And then on the way out, we see the crocodile. I'm like, nah, see, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is why we can't be here.
Yeah, it's wild.
Even people like the crocodiles like go in people's backyards. Like you see it on Instagram and stuff like that all the time.
It's wild to hear this from someone that's not like from Florida, because it's like, holy crap, like I want to see where this happens. And that's the Florida in me, wanting to see something Florida. Like I want to see something happen, but you've seen it, but I never really seen that.
It's like y'all like the Star Wars universe. Like this, like these different types of species. I've never seen a Sith in my life. I saw the thing yesterday.
Thing is, what I've usually seen is like shit with humans, like shit with like people, like like niggas just doing wild stuff. It's just like, why are you doing that? You know, never really animals. Are there bears in Florida?
I don't. There might be, but I couldn't. Could be wrong. I guess not.
Nah, there's no bears in Florida?
No bears in Florida. Okay. I mean, I know obviously there are definitely some towards the west, northwest, up north and stuff like that, obviously. But I mean, I've definitely never heard of any bears in Florida. So
I think that's wild. Like anywhere that got bears is wild to me as like a Floridian. Like we got alligators, cool, but you guys literally have like big, monstrous, fast creatures that if they're hungry, you're just fucked. There's nothing you can do against it. Like, that scares me. Like, as like a martial artist, something that exists where it's like nothing I could do against, like, it's pointless. Like, the weight class is just off the scales and the strength is just off the scales. It's like, yeah, nah, like, that's annoying. That's frustrating.
What do they say? Like, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. I think that's what they says. I mean, either way, because I'm like they say like you're not supposed to run, because like I think like bears can get up to like 30 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to catch up. They're gonna catch up. So I mean, it's pointless to try and run from them. But this is why I say it's much more important to pick your environment where you're gonna live, where you can, because just the stuff that I'm hearing from Florida news, this is dangerous, but we'll circle back to that here in just a minute. What's popping in the streets, everybody? I believe therefore I am King Sylar. You already know what it is. Thank you for coming back. Part 2 with our guest, Mr. Trest himself. So, of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Let me know your thoughts. Also, if you'd like to be on the show, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd definitely love to have as many guests as we possibly can. So let's get into it. So, obviously, you're a man of many talents. You are a fighter and you're obviously a dancer. So let's start, I guess, the easiest thing. So how long have you been dancing?
Every time someone asks me this question, it's always like, think back, because I've been dancing since I was a kid, around since I was like 3 to like, I was just moving.
Is there a specific time to work? Because I always tell people, for me, I guess like you can obviously be dancing, you know, since you got into like, if you were taking like classes or ballet, whatever the case may be. I guess what was the point to where you were aware that you were around a community that you would consistently be surrounding yourself by?
Right, that's good actually. Around probably, I'm 28, 2013, 10 years now? Actually being in a bit active community, 12 years. 11, 12 years actually being in, because I moved from Fort Myers to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And that was the first time I've explored my dance in other areas around other dancers. Like, I was in school and I was the only nigga that was dancing. Like there was actually like a couple people, but like I was always like outcasted from them because all they did was jerking. And it was like the jerk era.
Damn, they have that.
Yeah.
I guess that did get to us here in Texas. So I never would have thought I would have got to Florida. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was like 2010, 2009, everybody started jerking. And I was just like, oh snap. Like, I started doing it too. I was like picking it up and I was doing it. But I always like, before that, I was like, like with my long ass, bro. And I was awkward looking when I was a jit. I didn't even look, I was so compact and ugly, like, when I was starting to dance. But until like when I was dancing, when I was a kid, like I was just moving and I was just throwing myself sometimes and like, throwing kicks, you know, because I would always have inspiration from martial arts movies. But yeah, I was dancing and I actually got into a community when I moved to Fort Lauderdale, and there was this one dude that at the college I went to, his name was Shaq. I have such a love-hate relationship with this dude because he used to always tell me I was ass and I just sucked and I need to stop dancing. But he was like,
we all got that one. That one person you never forget.
That one person, you know, and it's like I fucking love Shaq. Like he's one of those people, like we both had like high extreme ADHD, so I understand him. He just says shit. Like he just can't help it. He just says shit, you know? And I'm just like, I get you, because my mind does that all the time. I just kind of know how to get it here sometimes. But he would always do that, but then he would always be brutally honest with me when I was just trash. And I was just like, God damn, like bro, like I'm trying my best. Let me do, you know? Like, let me do my thing.
I know someone who says that all the time. It's crazy to think about, man. Let me live.
Right. Let me just breathe or figure it out, bro. Like, and interestingly enough, he invited me to this thing called House of Drums. And it was like every single Tuesday night. They just had it every single Tuesday night. Never failed for like 10 years. Every single Tuesday night, people would just show up, different dance styles. This is like when it was before this, it was hard to get different dance styles to come together, especially like popping, b-boy, and like other styles to come together and dance. And with this one, everybody came out, and the house DJ would usually play house music, but then another DJ would, you know, it would mix it up, you know, but sometimes, usually it's house. But it was this like beautiful house. It's like deep house, and also like the type of house that makes you really tap into who you are past like whatever you learned, you know? So that was my first experience in the community. And that's kind of what shaped me, was like kind of that freedom, that freedom.
Was that your
space?
What was your first genre dance that you picked up, or whether it's just kind of you were picking up as you went along?
I was picking up, and the first thing I kind of did seriously was popping. Okay. Like actually like practicing and training and like learning how to hit and learn the foundation was popping, you know? And I was doing that. Before I used to always try and b-boy, but a long nigga was, for y'all long niggas that b-boy, thank you. Like, cause you understand how hard it is to sometimes just do shit randomly, but I always try. Like I always try, because I did capoeira for a while, and I love that style of movement, and it was very similar to b-boying. So popping was the first one. I was just like, oh, I like this shit. Like I'm gonna sit in it for a little bit, you know, kind of.
Right.
And I loved it, but I would always branch off and dance like however I wanted to dance. Like sometimes, like every time I would enter a popping battle, everybody would be like, yo, you snap, but it's like I wouldn't get through because I would be like not really hitting as much as I should be.
Gotcha. Because
I'm just like, damn, I gotta follow this cadence
right.
for a whole minute.
Yeah.
Like my ADHD is all over the place. I want to go.
Right.
Like, but it's like you gotta, that cadence is important to the foundation.
Yeah.
You know, but popping, but experimental was like on top of my like list of like what I really did from the beginning since I was a kid. I just always experimented with shit.
So how is now that, I mean, obviously you've been here for a little bit, how does because I do hear a lot of interesting stories. I hear a variety of stories from a lot of people that are from Florida. How different is the movement from Florida as versus to being out here in Texas?
That's a really good question.
I've been told that like Dallas is, everywhere I go, that I understand that we're not the most hardcore. We don't have like the numbers or whatever the case may be, but everywhere that I go, and maybe I see it, but at the same time, I guess I can say I don't necessarily like it that much, because I've heard so many people call Dallas like the stomping grounds. Everybody loves to describe Dallas as we're very conceptual, but we don't necessarily have like the most traditional dancers or whatever the case may be. We don't have like any like super worldwide, but like people come here to see the melting pot or be a part of the melting pot. So I kind of see it, you know, a couple years ago when people started saying, because I heard it from like people from Florida. I heard it from people that were on the East Coast as well. They were just like, yeah, y'all aren't like super traditional or anything like that, but it's just like y'all have a very unique way of approaching dance. So like, how does that look to you compared to like where you're already from?
It's actually interesting because coming here kind of exposed me to a lot of natural experimentative people. You know, like from what I perceive as experimental, like a lot of like the movement of people down here in Dallas do is like, naturally you guys are not like really trying to focus on too much like competition in a way where it's just like, oh, I'm trying to like eat these niggas up type shit. Right. But you guys are very like, let me move and do my thing, you know, like with a lot of different styles. From people I've kind of experienced, like even like people in specific styles that do like, you know, specifically crumb or do specifically pop. You guys will kind of like approach it very, a little bit, not slower tempo, but more your own pace tempo in a sense. Right. In Florida, like Florida was very competitive. Like for me, like growing up over there, they're very competitive. It's just like there's crews, like, there's many crews, and there's many people that are trying to smoke niggas, and they have beef. Right. They call each other out. They talk a lot of shit. Right. So if you don't come a certain way, no one's really trying to look at that, you know. And it's like one of those things I grew up in where it's like, I kind of gotta come at these niggas and eat them, like really like come at them a certain way. Really shout my name from the mountaintop so people can understand and give me my respect type shit, like in different ways. You the home, bro. I'm gonna let you know, because we be getting people in this channel, bro. I'm not gonna lie, you done set off like the pause meter like 50 times, bro. Like, bro, what did I say? What did I say? Wait, tell me after. Earlier when you said, you know, us long niggas. So I was like, whoa. Hey, I just be saying shit, bro. So I understand, if you catch it, by all means, it's all good. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna just look at the camera. Just gonna put like a counter up here. I'm just going ding. I might. Fuck. All right, so it's all good. Besides, I'm gonna try to keep a watch on it because I'm Jamaican too. So it's like my buddies over there in the yard house. They're gonna probably call me and be like, "Hey, yo, right, lighten it, bro." Like, please. But no, I feel that, man, because I mean, like I said, I've met a lot of people from Florida and stuff like that, and they've told me that, you know,
you know, coming out here and like the scene, they're just like, man, y'all move great. We enjoy the quality. It's just, I'm looking for the hardcore intensity ciphers and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, we're trying, man. But it's just like, everybody kind of moves to the beat of their own drum out here, so to speak. So have there been any, have you had any hard battles out here so far? Like anything that like you felt pushed in any, I guess, well, maybe that's a better question. Like what realm, I guess, when you came out, or what specific thing when you came out to Dallas has pushed you the most? Like is anything like Dallas is kind of exposed in your own craft?
Planting my feet in a different area of my own craft. Because in Florida, I've kind of established my identity a little to the point where it's just like people know what I'm about. Right? Like wherever I go, you're gonna see this. Right. Like this is what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna see some weird shit. You know? Right. Even for as weird as Florida is, I'm one of the niggas there that's like one of the weirdest. Where as far as like my style is very
it's abstract.
Yeah, it's very abstract. My mind kind of goes in abstract places naturally. So it's like it goes areas where it's like even I kind of don't know what it is, and it's deep into the unknown, and then it's like we'll figure it out together, type thing. But coming here, planting my feet in that same essence without people really knowing like that, because everybody kind of got exposed to me here, but no one really was like has had my essence kind of sink into them, like as far as like who I am. Relax. Yo, relax. You ain't got. You don't gotta do me like that. Ooh, man. You don't gotta do my essence sink into the man. Oh man, fire! Let's go. Woo, yeah, it's great. Hey, I'm gonna just live with this. You feel me? Like y'all just gonna hear it. I ain't gonna hold back. But you feel what I mean, though?
Like, I got you. I got you.
Like, kind of like when you know someone for a long time, you know them. You know, like if they text you, you know how they text you. You feel me? If I like over there in Florida, they kind of like we all grown around each other, so it's like everybody kind of knows what I'm about. It's easier for me to just tap in if I need to. Like, all right, say fuck it, tap in. Right. Over here, it's like so interesting because planting my feet here, like I can tap in by myself because you know you dance by yourself enough times, you realize the difference between this is me really in it, even if it doesn't look good, or this is me not really feeling it, even if it does look good. Yeah, you know, and over here, I'm just like, damn, I need to feel myself out again, like in a different place where no one knows me, you know. Look, that was good. That was fine. That was light. That wasn't even heavy. Come on, like. I'm at like 35 right now. Combo breaker. I'm at like 35. Right. That's fair. But yeah, no, I mean that definitely makes sense, man. Because I mean I think for sure going to other states. I think when I got to the East Coast, they definitely have, obviously East Coast, like they're naturally kind of aggressive out there and stuff like that. And it's crazy because I read a book about it, and there was this guy, he was just pretty much talking, he said the only reason why East Coast people are really aggressive is because they're literally like stacked on top of each other, like close quarters all damn day. And then being like on the East Coast, obviously there's a lot of cities and stuff like that. It's colder, you're close to the ocean, whatever the case may be. The pollution is worse, like, you know, it's much more expensive on that side of town. And of course, like, there's not as much sun. So, I mean, a lot of people are subject to depression and like mood swings and stuff like that out there. So I was just like, okay, well, we're never moving to the East Coast. That's for sure. Unless it's a really great opportunity. But yeah, being out there, like, I mean, they're like really hardcore. And it's kind of one thing I hate to shit like that, but it's like, it always kind of makes me laugh how like, I think is it Flexing the one that has all the hat moves and stuff like that? Oh yeah, Flexing usually has hat moves. It trips me out like how aggressive they are. And I'm like, bro, you're not dancing. You just hit me with a bunch of hat tricks. Like, yeah, what's up, nigga? We outside, nigga. What's up, bro? And they'll doom, 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 doom. I'm just like, bro, you can't be seriously like, you can't talk like that, bro, and hit me with a hat move, bro. Like, you can't be that aggressive doing that, bro. It's funny you say that because it's like, South Florida is, even though it's on the east, but it's like south, it's still the south.
We don't get into that.
Yeah,
that's a conversation. We don't get that, but please finish with it.
Yeah. It's interesting. We kind of move different from that, but we're so close to it in a way. Right. So it's like we just think of it so differently because we have people that dance like that essence also on the floor, right. But it's just mixed up. Yeah. So it's like, oh snap, like okay, hat tricks, blah blah blah. It's like a lot of people from the East Coast came down to Florida. Gotcha. And gave us a lot of like knowledge on their styles, and it kind of spread into other people's styles, you know? And we're just like, sometimes like with the East Coast and the hat movements and the concepts, the conceptualizing, right? We're like, damn, bro, they're not dancing and they're battling. But it's like, it's hard for me to like, you're not dancing though, you know? So sometimes we get on them for that, but at the same time, we do respect the concepts because it's like, there's some dope concepts that they make. Oh yeah. There's some dope concepts that they make, and it's just like, oh, that's cool. You know, sometimes the concepts go out the window when it's like my attention span is now looking at what your opponent is looking at you doing, you know? But It's like the concepts when they're like trained on and it's like they're precise, you know, it's like, all right, I see you, but you can't outdance me though. Like any day you can't outdance me, right? You know, it's like, I
told them all the time, I was like, this is great, you know, but it's just like the idea of like music playing in the background and you're not interacting with it, you're just simply, you know, messing around with your hat, like that bothers my soul. And I know I'm technically kind of shitting on an entire culture community right now or style, but it's like, what's the point? Like, what are you doing? I was like, and you have the audacity to call that dancing? Like, oh, I'm a dancer. What you do? I like beat. Man, all right, we'll play a track. No, play some wifey music. And it's just like a repeated, just like drum and a synthesizer. And you're just like, you're a juggler.
See, I feel you.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
Yeah, you definitely gonna get blasted.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that one.
I feel you, you know? And it's like, I respect all styles because it's like there's different spectrums of movement for sure. Right. Like as someone who's learned dance, like from the essence of dance of literally grooving and kind of like just bobbing, you know, really having that tempo. It's like when you learn the concepts and kind of get around that conceptual type dancing, you can dance in the concepts. Gotcha. So it's like you can kind of move with it, but also like the movement goes to the beat still. And it's like, it's instead of it being like a groove, it's more of like a dun, 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 dun. It's like one of those like, you're dancing with it kind of, and it can, sometimes it feels tasteless. It feels like Sprite, or it feels like, not Sprite.
Sprite, oh, like Sprite is amazing. I love Sprite.
That's Sprite. Tonic water. Gotcha. Like bland. Not Sprite, but it's like you're drinking like carbonated water. Gotcha. But as someone like you like anime, you love anime. You see the concepts that they're doing. Someone that like really likes anime, like I appreciate the concepts because it's like it's kind of like resembles that sometimes when you create things. Yeah. So.
I feel that.
But I feel you. You gotta get blasted though, but I feel you.
Yeah, listen, I'm
no. What the fuck, bro? Hey, you over there. Yeah. You over there.
Either way, we both we'll definitely be paying for that. Your comments and then what I just said over, I'm sorry, y'all. It is what it is. It ain't nothing that y'all don't know at this point, but it is. We'll see you on the next one.
I love other styles.
Disclaimer, we love styles.
We love styles.
What's poppin' in the streets? I believe therefore I am King Sylar. We're back with another episode with our special guest, Mr. Trest. That rhymed. It wasn't intentional. So there we go.
It was so intentional.
Following up, like we were talking a little while ago. So how would you, I understand, you said like your style is much more abstract. How would you describe your journey as far as in terms of trying to align your craft with dance at the same time as far as like balancing a life as far as, obviously as a respective MMA fighter? How's that worked with you? Has that helped you at all? Because I've been told that like some stuff like that, like dancing. I can't remember what that guy's name was, but I think like one of his fights, like he was doing like salsa and stuff like that as far as like his warm up, because it helps his feet and stuff like that. Have you had a similar?
Was it Barbosa? I think
Somebody.
it was Barbosa.
It was somebody. I know he was from South America, but they just had a video of him like just like doing like you know, salsa and stuff like that, working on his footwork, and he had on like full blown shoes like while doing his footwork. So has that kind of helped you?
Oh yeah.
Any other outside influences helped your fighting?
My fighting is nothing without my dancing. My dancing is nothing without my fighting.
Right.
That's one thing I've grown to accept through experience as I've grown in this journey of both sides. Like, it's like hand in hand. Like, my movement in dance is the way it is because of martial arts. Like, anything you do consistently with your body is gonna translate to other things in your life, no matter what. Like,
that's true.
Anything you do consistently with your body and your mind, it's just gonna translate to everything you do.
Right.
So there is no escaping, for me, the translation of martial arts through my dance art. Because it's like, my body just, if I'm gonna let myself go and do whatever I want, well, guess what? My body's gonna do something in translation. I might not throw like a jab or a cross or a hook, but it's a lot of times, it's really the approach and intention that my martial arts peaks when it comes to my dance.
Do you have like an internal rhythm whenever you're fighting? You know?
Internal and also like optional based off of the rhythm of my opponent.
Gotcha.
Because it's one of those things where you have to kind of read where your opponent might go in like the next 3 steps. And reading it is something you can't really think about. You kind of have to gauge by following your rhythm also.
Right.
And feeling when they hit you, how they hit you, and their rhythm naturally as they like try to attack you. And when you're reading that rhythm, you have to try and break it. You have to break the rhythm and also like anticipate it, not even anticipate it, like literally be on top of that rhythm at all times when you're fighting. And dancing kind of helped me get good at breaking that rhythm, because it's like, you know, when you're dancing, you can hit different beats.
Right.
Yeah. You can hit different beats at the same time and multitask and kind of slow down. You have an option. You don't have to go on 1 BPM the whole time, you know, because then it's like, it becomes monotone. It's like gray. It's like people stop really knowing what you're doing, even if you're doing something. But when it comes to fighting, now it's like, there's different BPMs to everybody's movement, and I can choose which one to kind of stay on top of.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, because I've seen that in quite a few people. Definitely, obviously, I know I've maybe some people caught on, but I definitely know I've caught it from Izzy Adesanya. And obviously, he used to crump. You know, he's from, you know, he's been in the street style community for a long time, and I think they said he's like he's an NZ OG, if I'm not mistaken. I think they kind of classify him like as an OG crumper from where he's from. But there's times where like certain things that he'll do, like I'm no expert fighter. Like I did my fighting early on. I did 5 years or 6 years of MMA. I did 12 years of Taekwondo. So it's just exercise and fitness for me. But things that he's kind of done, like I'll see like he'll, you know, either be kind of like tracking his opponent, whatever the case may be, and he'll kind of like step and he'll sway and then kind of get like back into his pocket. It's like small stuff like that. Even when he switches his stance, he'll like switch and then kind of do like this sway, and I'm just kind of like, that looks like an internal rhythm to me. Just kind of like him, obviously, and I do know that you are contracting and expanding and stuff like that, maintaining a certain level of fluidity, you know, throughout that. So I definitely understand that really does translate in a lot of areas of the dance as well.
Big time.
Is there a particular genre of dance that's kind of helped you the most, you know, with MMA or fighting in general?
Experimental, man. Like my whole life, really, honestly, it's like that. Like when I'm fighting, I experiment also, like especially in like my jiu-jitsu and ground game, because it's very much a flow. So a lot of times there'll be moments where I see someone's head and I'll feel their movement pushing, and I'll experiment with the push. I'll push against them, let them push ever, and I'll put my foot over their head like this and grab it around and kind of do something like that. So I do that while I'm fighting. And it's like one of those things where it's like I'm literally just experimenting. A lot of times I pull off moves that are not really traditional to jiu-jitsu or traditional to striking. You know, like I do like like a jab, cross, you have to kind of come over, make sure you protect yourself. Sometimes I'll come over and
Are you southpaw or orthodox?
I stay orthodox, but my southpaw is very much trained. Like I train my southpaw, especially for like fast flicker jabs.
Right.
My flicker jabs and southpaw are very good. Actually, when it gets big, like you might have to bleep that out at one point so my opponents don't get like a head start, right? I'll let you know if it becomes a situation. They start watching. They're just like, oh,
right, yeah, okay, got it, right.
Yeah, But yeah, like I like to switch between styles because having a balance is important. Like knowing how to do stuff on your left and do stuff on your right.
Where did you start? I mean, like kickboxing, jiu-jitsu.
I started actually when I was 7, Taekwondo.
Hey,
I started Taekwondo, and
I feel like all the black people start with Taekwondo for some reason.
They're everywhere, low key. Like there's schools everywhere, especially now.
That's true. That's true.
COVID kind of messed them up though. But
I believe that.
Yeah. But yeah, that Taekwondo, I started with that. So I started with a lot of like high intensity kicks and stuff, and kind of like really getting used to kind of throwing my body, especially as a young like kid. You kind of just
you can
you
flexibility,
know, not powerful, but you know, you could just throw your shit and get around. But I stopped after a while because my parents were like, "Oh, he's getting too aggressive," and he's like I was like always wanting to like scrap. Like I always wanted to scrap with other people, but like playfully, like not actually like fight, but like oh, let's play tag, let's play taps or something like that. Let's play kick each other. And it was like, teacher was always telling me like, stop touching people. And I'm like, I'm just trying to like practice what you showed us, bro. Like,
right.
You know,
let me loose.
let me do something. I'm not even hurting nobody. But yeah.
It's funny because like, and of course there's and I'll post it here for you guys to see it as well, but you have a new video that's out. And I think it's kind of funny because like you kind of do like this spider walk. Every time that you do that, like to me, and again, for like, again, I've spent a lot of times, I'm a big fan of martial arts. If it wasn't for martial arts, I never would have got into MMA. So, I never would have gotten into anime. So for me, like I'm constantly watching it. So like the movies, like when you do kind of the spider walk, to me, it's always like, oh, I just hear Joe Rogan, I'm like, oh, he's got the hooks in. And for people who don't understand that, like the hooks is like whenever when you're taking it back and stuff like that to control your opponent to keep them from moving, you wrap their hooks in between the insides of their legs so that way you can control that lower half. And so every time he does that, I hear Joe Rogan, and he's got the hooks in. Like it's just automatic for me. So it's when I see stuff like that, it is like you said, like I think MMA and dancing can definitely help both, in my opinion, because I obviously on the side of just wellness and fitness and stuff like that, there are a lot more, in my personal opinion, a lot better attributes as far as in terms of MMA, in my personal opinion. And it keeps you prepared to do things in dance. And then as far as like you said, having that internal rhythm, you know, understanding body language and stuff like that. Because as grown people, like I can't remember where I saw this at, but I want to say it was in a movie, but I didn't realize it. They said like, if you can dance, you can have sex. If you have sex, you can understand body language. So it's like any dude that has kids and stuff like that, he says he can't dance. You understand it to some capacity. It's just like you just have to get more consistent with it. So it was an interesting take to hear because like when I really thought about it, I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. May not to obviously the level that we're at and stuff like that, but you understand an internal rhythm that you have to have. You know, so that definitely makes a lot of sense, man. That's crazy, man.
It's beautiful because you kind of, when you kind of get into that zone in dance, it's very similar like to the zone in fighting.
Right. Like
that zone where it's like, you're not really thinking about things. It might have took you a while to tap into it, but when you get in it, it's like things just kind of happen and like you kind of just lose yourself and you just might do something you never done before. Same thing happens in fighting, but it only happens because, especially if you're going against someone you don't know, you're going to a tempo that's kind of unknown and you have a lot of options. So it's gonna shove you to a place of, I'm gonna just try some shit. You know, and it's gonna put you in this place where it's like, oh, I'm gonna just have to improvise. I'm gonna just have to put you into a freestyle motion of being, like a freestyle existence, you know. just because the unknown is pushing you places. You don't know how this guy's gonna punch you. You don't know how this beat might just switch, especially if it's something new.
That's something I recommend a lot of people do. Like I'm a firm believer. I personally think that, I kind of share the same similarity as like some of these other influences and stuff like that. Like I firmly believe that every man should at least like take a boxing lesson or some type of form of martial arts for at least a month. Some type of physical contact form martial arts at least one time. Because of course, like I believe in the Mike Tyson ultimate rule. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face or punched in the mouth. I believe that wholeheartedly. Being able to know you're not as tough as you think you are until you get into like a real fight to where it's like, okay, we're not scrapping in the middle of the streets. We're not trying to kick each other or whatever it is. Put these gloves on. This person knows what he's doing. You know what you're doing. You got 5 3-minute rounds. Let's make it happen. Like this ain't no quick scuffle or whatever the case may be. You really figure out who you are in that cage. I've been folded by people at 140 and stuff like that. Like I got hit in the ribs one time, or I got hit in the liver one time, liver shot, and it was just in immediate. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you realize how fragile the human body is.
Yeah,
like how truly fragile it is.
Yeah, you're not as indestructible as you think you are.
You don't got claws, you don't got teeth like the animals do. Like we have brains, but you get hit from something. Like all it takes an orangutan, bro. They're smaller than us,
but they have more fibers.
They can just rip your arms off.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna do that. They're gonna rip your dick off. Think about that. They choose not to do that. They choose to go straight for that. Those are evil creatures when it comes to scrapping. I know you're gonna zoom in on that. Anyway.
This is why you don't have pet monkeys. I'm not going near any animals. If it's not a dog or maybe a cat or goldfish, it's just a wrap.
Don't fight those things, bro. Don't pandas are lazy, but they can also fuck you up. Pandas are lazy. They're probably gonna choose not to mess you up, but they can mess you up. The human body is fragile. And we're only dangerous because we have a brain that created a system of martial arts for people to use
and
against other people though. Like you can't really use it against animals like that.
Just imagine just for a moment, like if, obviously this is Planet of the Apes 101, but it's like, just imagine if apes or sharks or bears or whatever the case may be, if wolves and stuff like that, if they actually started like gaining a certain level of intelligence to where they were hunting humans. If it was an active war, like they were using, pun intended, but guerrilla warfare and stuff like that to set trap. Walk outside and get jumped by a pack of dogs and chihuahuas.
So quick.
Hey, run that.
So quick.
Just tearing your ankles up.
You can't have no pets, bro, because they just gonna be like, yo, like, hey, why you got me here?
Right, you the ops. Like you're working for the birds trying to set you up. Like,
I could buy this house, nigga. The fuck out of here. Imagine your cat. Like, all right, I'm gonna wait till you go to sleep. Imagine.
I already don't trust cats. Cats are not trustworthy.
Yeah, I have a cat.
I can't trust cats. Like they're too devious, man.
It's a past experience of cats that you had.
Nah, it's just like this one time. Like I think my dad told this joke, and he was like, man, you got to get yourself a dog. He's like, at the very least, dogs are gonna show levels of emotions. Cats don't. And he's like, you got to think about it. He's like, oh, no. I was like, why don't you want a cat? He's like, think about it. Your life's in danger. What's gonna happen? The dog's gonna bark. He gonna make noise. He gonna run around in circles or whatever the case may be. Dogs are there for you, even if they don't like you. They can be, hey, wake up, bro. Hey, there's a fire, nigga. Like they're gonna say something. Cats are gonna ram. Cat's gonna find a way out that house. Gonna climb through the window, and it was nice knowing you, Trenton. I did not enjoy our time together, but I will miss your smell of vegan hot dogs.
I tried. I mean,
and walk right out. I do not trust cats. Will not. Not to mention, cats have been known to suffocate babies. Yeah, she didn't know that's a fact. Like cats literally will sleep on babies' faces. Like there was a report, and it's a real thing. This is not outside the norm or anything like that. Cats have been known to cuddle up next to babies and suffocate them. Look it up.
Like just knowing that they're suffocating them?
Yeah.
Like just like, I would just.
This.
Nah, there's no way they're doing that.
They're not doing that, but they climb on. They'll climb on top of it.
I know, fuck, thinking of got thumbs, nigga. But damn, like,
don't trust cats, bro. Don't trust them no matter what. So,
I mean, I have a cat, and I'll say for sure, like, they're naturally just instinctually predators. Like, they're naturally like, they're just naturally like, all right, bro, like, if you smaller than me and you moving, I'm gonna fuck you up. Even for my cat, she's an orange cat. Even as a bigger person, she just be waiting for me, and it just pounces at my foot trying to scrap. Like, she really just be trying to scrap. Or I just put my hand up like this, and she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch. Like, she literally always does that. But then she'll be cute and then come up to me and give me kisses and want to cuddle up and be like, oh, I love you. Oh, that's cool.
Feline instincts, bro. So it
just switches up. You know?
Can't do it, bro. That's why.
And I love dogs. Like, I want to get a dog next. But I like cats too, only because I've seen some cats get down on some protective shit. Like, I seen a cat actually attack somebody for somebody else.
I've never seen that in my life.
I've seen it like once with a kid, and it was like one dude was just pulling up, like coming too quick to the kid, and the cat literally pulled up and literally just came at bro. And I was just like,
so it was safe to say that he had the cat whipped? That's how you do it right there, folks. We'll see you on the next one in a little bit.
Next segment. Next segment.
And welcome back. It's Popping in the Streets, everybody. I believe therefore I am King Sylar. Most important, don't forget to subscribe, like, share the content. Let me know what your thoughts are. And of course, we're back, still here with our guest, Mr. Trest. It is what it is. So, let's get into some tough questions.
Oh.
What do you, and I do ask creative people, whether it be content creators, dancers, artists, musicians, whatever the case may be, what do you think your goal is? Because I do believe, or what do you think, I don't want to say goal, but I think like, what is it that you believe that you're destined to leave? Dare I say the earth, but I'll say the community. Because like when I spoke to Junior, like he told me like his was to be a creative, was to be able to show, you know, that you can do both. You can be a dancer, content creator, things like that. You can balance one day, wear multiple hats and stuff like that. With you being obviously a dancer, an artist, and of course a fighter, what do you think your calling is?
I feel like I want to pioneer a movement of awareness, and that could be through martial arts and dance. Selfishly for myself, I want to fight the best people in the world. That's what I want to do. I want to battle the best people in the world. Selfishly, that's what I want to do. Like, as far as like if I have the freedom to do whatever I want to leave the earth knowing that I won against the best. And also, I've won against the best, or I lost against the best. I want to know that I've done that. Selflessly, I want to leave the world with an idea of freedom, I guess. Like self-freedom in what you do, in how you think, and how you kind of pioneer your direction. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that get stuck into these traps of the world and system of like just being in the rat race, make the money, make the content, do this, be a part of the algorithm, get to know the people. But a lot of people feeling like they're marching at the beat of their own drum, but they're really not. They're actually conforming to what other people accept as great, you know? I want to pioneer something where people kind of freely do what they really want to do, but like not conforming to like one spectrum, like of whatever they're doing. Like if you're an artist, if you're an artist, what else do you do outside of your art that contribute to the full scale of why your art is your art, you know, and bringing it into like your art in different ways. Or like if you're a hustler, what else do you do other than hustle that can kind of like, you know, like just kind of pioneer a different movement? Because I'm a martial artist and I've been joining my martial art and dance art together in a way that I feel like that's kind of different than what other people that have also done both are kind of going about it, because it's one of those things where I want to create a harmony and create my own movement as a whole, like my own approach to movement and dance as a whole, not just dance and fighting, but like movement altogether. Like I want to represent that, you know? And what does that look like? There's this guy named, I forgot his name, but he goes around and he teaches people movement that a lot of great fighters learn from him to have like full optimization in their body in ways that kind of, Ito Portal.
Okay.
That's what his name is, Ito Portal. And he kind of just goes around the world and teaches people movement that kind of like translates well to dancing and to martial arts and to like other spectrums of movement of like lifting or performance or anything in that spectrum where it's like physical into the body and also mental. And it was so interesting watching that, because I was just like, oh, this is something I feel is really important, you know, like that can help other people, like having full optimization in their body to move, you know,
for sure.
Because we live in a generation, especially now, where we're sitting down a lot.
Facts.
We sit down a lot, and we sit down and we watch things a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, because I do kind of like, obviously, even for me, like I find myself attached to technology and social media a lot. Luckily, obviously, I'm able to balance that out with work and passion as far as for dance and exercise and stuff like that. But I saw that it was interesting to hear that 95% of people after they reach 30 will never sprint again in their life. Like one of my friends, Ryan Sullivan, just sent it to me. He was like, yeah, 95% of people after the age of 30 will never sprint ever for the rest of their life.
After the age of 30?
After the age of 30, they'll never sprint again. And I'm just like, nah, you can't be serious. And then I'm thinking, I was like, well, there's not a lot of people who really, I was like, who don't enjoy running. Because like, I know I'm one of the few people, like I love running. It's part of the reason why, knees messed up as it is and stuff like that. But I love running. I love like just the idea of running. Just, I enjoy it. It's the exercise where I can just zone out and just, there's no challenge. It's just go and, decompress. But I was thinking about it and I was like, well, even for me, like I'm a runner and I don't really sprint like that a lot. Like if I do, it's only for maybe a hot 30 seconds when I'm like maybe like the last quarter of a mile, whatever the case, maybe. But I'm like, that might make sense. And I was like, that sounds about right. And I was like, so I can only imagine like what the percentage is as far as for people who actually, push themselves in the gym, who actually like push past your limits, who make progress. Then of course, like they say, like the people who don't even make it to the gym, on a regular basis.
That's out the window for them.
Yeah, like they say, the first step is not actually getting to the gym, it's deciding to go.
It's interesting. Because there's a lot of people that I know that are younger than 30. They don't run. They just don't run at all. And the speculation of, not even speculation, just the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's very true. The reason being, it's like when you do anything, like if you do it a lot, when it comes time to do it, it will be easier to do it, Like if I'm not training or if I'm not dancing often, like there's been moments where I would go like a month without really actually dancing, And I've realized where I fucked up. Like when it comes to like, okay, we're gonna go to a session, we're gonna dance. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like I haven't danced in a month. And I'm just like, this feels so, like, it feels like I'm struggling because my mental is still like, I know who I am. Right. Like I know my potential. I know how good I can get. I know how good I can be. I know how tapped in I can get into my movement. Yeah. But if you don't use it,
I've noticed that, because I definitely see it as far as for dancers, because I feel it ever since, like I said, I'm 34. So I think like around 30, there was a switch for me because obviously, at least from how I remember when I see a lot of other people in your 20s, obviously it's about experimenting. It's about really trying to find yourself. And even if you do know who you are, it's about pushing that boundary as far as you can. And then somewhere around 30, maybe even 35, it kind of clicks for people. It's kind of like, okay, well, maybe this isn't really what I want to do forever. But it's not that it necessarily that it's not a passion anymore, or it's a form of expression or release or whatever the case, or even exercise for that matter. It's just like, okay, I don't really want to push this any further than what it is right here. So I find myself sometimes in weeks to where like, I'll go like 2 or 3 weeks and I'll look up and like, I haven't really practiced in a long time to where it's just like, let me get in here by myself and let me train or whatever the case may be. I'll just find myself in spaces to where, okay, I need a session. Okay, this like we have our family lab and stuff like that. So I'll prepare myself like, maybe like 4 or 5 hours in advance or whatever the case may be. But I'm not in that space anymore to where it's like, okay, I'm trying to push myself. So that makes a lot of sense because like I'm super busy all the time. So I can only imagine like what somebody like myself who's maybe like 2 or 3 steps, behind me in terms of like passion or interest. They may go like 3 or 4 months, without dancing or anything like that. I used to get jitters. Like I used to kind of like get points to where I'm just like, okay, this feels uncomfortable, or my hip or knee will start acting up because I'm not being active. I'm not using it. So I believe that wholeheartedly.
And it's mental also. It's like, it can kind of put you into this place of imposter syndrome while you're dancing. If you're not actually actively dancing as much as you probably used to in the past. Like before in the past, me and my bro, Twan T-Motion, if he's watching this, fuck you. Love you. But we used to go, our round count, like in some nights that we would battle, would sometimes get to at least 200.
Wow.
We would just
rally up,
cycle it, we would just cycle it, and the whole night, literally, until nothing else can be given, we would go, we're just dead. You, sir, behind the camera, we gonna talk like
right. Point counter right there. Got that one.
Nah, bro. Well, could have just left it. Could have just left it fly, bro.
But no, that definitely makes sense. I definitely do believe that I definitely know for a fact there have been some nights to where, obviously, we've had sessions to where it's just you dance until you drop, like, or times where you just find yourself dancing and it's just either you'll push and you'll dance as intensely as long as you possibly can, or you'll go for like those stamina rounds. Plenty of times, and of course, obviously we were there for Mr. Apex himself, his pack out and stuff like that, out there, so that was a good time. So, he went 21 rounds. So it's like, hey, there we go.
Those look fun. I like seeing you guys do pack outs because those are like, reminds me of the time where it's like when we just really dove into that passion, and it came from a place of passion a lot too.
Yeah, and people like they have that so misconstrued because pack outs are a rite of passage and they are more of a respect thing than anything else. It's kind of like people think that like, it's almost I hate seeing the ego behind it because we've had some people who are like, they'll make posts like, I want to be packed out, and it's kind of like, yeah, but we ain't seen you. Like, no, we're not gonna waste our time packing you out. It's like, like somebody like if you're going to like overseas or or whatever the case may be for a couple months, stuff like that, or you're going to a competition, like, okay, hey guys, I want to get packed out so that way like I'm almost in a sense triggering myself to, or jump-starting myself to be prepared, for this type of energy, whatever the case may be. Because we know how tournaments can be. They can be all day, they're draining. Even the down times is, for me personally, I hate down times in competitions. I hate that. I would much rather it just be back-to-back, round after round, until the finals, then take a small break and then come back. But I hate having to sit between like...
Settles your mind.
Yeah, like I don't like that. It takes the edge off. So like we'll do that. And if you get packed out, it's like, okay, we have respect for you. It's kind of like an honor thing. But if you're just asking me packed out just for the ego thing, it's like, oh, get in the field. Like, and then once we as a community feel like, you deserve it, then it's like, okay, we'll naturally just, rally behind you. But if you're just asking for the sake, it's like, that's just weird.
That's good though. That keeps it authentic, unique in its own way.
Yeah, it's like you can't just walk in there, hey guys, getting ready for a fight. I want to fight all of y'all. Just one round. Everybody's gonna be kind of like, no.
Like you gotta know.
Yeah, it's like,
they gotta know you.
Yeah, right. They gotta know you. They have to know that it's important and stuff like that. You know, and you have to build that camaraderie. You know, with, with everybody in the gym too. You don't just like, hey guys, I need this. I fight all of y'all because I'm fighting it. It's like, nah, man. Like, go over there with your trainer. Get your best friend. He's over there. Like,
You are not worthy.
Pretty much. So stop wasting your time asking to be packed out. Packouts happen naturally or organically. Like, again, and it's a respect thing. It's not just simply because you can. It's not. That's why I do like. That's the one thing I think I like about Crump for sure is that that's changed. Because back then it was just you get packed out because it's a Tuesday.
Right.
Now it's just kind of like we're seeing you doing good. We're gonna help you push tonight.
Right.
So you're getting packed out.
It's built on now.
Right.
It's like there's a purpose behind it.
Exactly, man. So that's what it is. But that's dope. I mean, I think that's a good. I think that's good for you as far as in terms, because again, like I said, we don't have many people that are involved in mixed martial arts or, that are involved in dance. I know a couple, this guy named Batman, he does Muay Thai. He's a breaker. I don't see him that much anymore, so he may have stopped. But I think just simply that realm, again, like I said, it just goes hand in hand. Like watching body language and stuff like that, of course, and it's strange because it's like, I have the same vision when I'm battling people. Like I'm staring at your body. I'm usually looking right here. And the same thing like when I, used to train to fight before it made it popular. It's like they say, like, don't watch your hands, like watch the whole body. Right, watch your shoulders and hips and stuff like that. Like watch that, watch the whole thing versus this is gonna move. Like you're not gonna be able to catch this by the time it's moving. Right. Like you need to be ready. You need to watch for the telegraphic and stuff like that. So that's dope, man. That's dope, man. So what's next? I mean, like, what is it that what's next for you immediately? I guess that maybe we would see like in the next 1 to 2 years.
Oh well, shit. Probably be in a pro fight. Probably on TV.
Let's go. We
Yes.
fighting, or do we know?
I honestly want to, cause I'm 28 now, right? So as far as what company I'll be with, I'm not sure because I think they cut off Contender Series at the age of 30. Like you can't really get on the Contender Series until you're like for UFC.
Right.
But I'm not looking to myself like, oh, I just want to get to UFC. There's PFL,
right. There's
Bellator, but I think they switched it to PFL and Bellator. There's other promotions.
Would you ever do bare knuckle? Hey, Mike Perry's made. What did he made? He just recently he made like $8 million in like his last 5 fights versus 1.8 million in his entire UFC career. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But I tell you right now about bare knuckle, the striking is completely different. Like you have to.
I think everything looks like it. I've watched it like 4 or 5 times, and everything just looks like a Hail Mary.
Yeah, because you have to catch.
Yeah,
you have to catch and just accept that
you're gonna get hit.
You're gonna get hit, and it's like you can't really block.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. When you have the gloves, you can kind of shell and kind of catch stuff here and kind of have a strategy where you can kind of like parry it a certain way with the gloves. Bare knuckle,
forearm or slipping, right?
Or just throw. Just the best defense is offense at that point.
That's
best defense is offense because at that point, if they get close enough where they can hit you, you gotta get them first.
Yeah, fact.
And kind of like risking here and here is like a quick way for you to wake up and be like, oh shit, what happened? Because it's like,
somebody stand over. Hey, so hold on, you got caught.
It doesn't matter how good you are sometimes. Like this, when you get to a certain level, everybody gets to a place where it's like, all right, like I'm just this much better, or I'm just this much better. But even if they're just this much better, if you go 3 rounds with somebody, like that's enough for you to analyze what they do for you to get this much better.
Right.
Or it's like when it comes to bare knuckle, you just need a couple of seconds for you to be like, oh, he drops that right hand. Boom, I'm better than you right now. And then you catch them with that left. So
because I watched Mike Perry and Paige. I watched that fight. I was like, oh, Paige is gonna win this. By that 3rd round, I was like,
Mike Perry, that was an upset.
Mike Perry might win. Mike Perry win this fight. And they went to that last round. I was like, yeah, bro, that jump style is just
yeah.
As I kind of just watched it, I was just like, there's just nothing you can do with that. I was like, don't get me wrong, it may work against a lot of unexperienced fighters and stuff like that, but a lot of those guys that have the ability, who just have like great slipping and dodging, and they watch your body to telegraph, it's like, bro, you doing this the entire time over a repeated, like that your rhythm is telegraphed. Like eventually you're gonna get used to getting ready to, like when he's gonna jump in, and the biggest thing, that stamina is gonna wear down after a while. Like you're overexerting yourself.
There's
like,
no kicks. Like you seen what he started off with, like literally, I think it was ITF Taekwondo.
Right.
Like point, like kicks, bro. You're kicking, like you know. And it's like when I seen that he lost, I was like, it kind of makes sense. It's a bare knuckle. Your footwork, that type of footwork is best to be capitalized when you got kicking involved.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you're just punching a person that's could come at you and just be like, fuck that. Like Mike Perry.
He walked him down. Like, kid you not, like, and he was, I would say Paige was winning, like in kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, Mike Perry's always been a tank. Like, you know.
That boy is a savage.
Literally.
He don't care about his brain cells. And that's a scary thing.
Yeah, what do they say? Like, if you don't care about your life, you're definitely not gonna talk about mine. So,
you got it.
He did not care, but he walked him down. And they went into that extra round, and just like that whole bouncing back and forth, they kept clinching up, and Mike Perry was just able to just kind of grit it out.
Savage, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah. So again,
Be a
gloves.
savage.
Be a savage. Get you some gloves. See you on the next one. What's popping in the streets, everybody? I believe, therefore I am King Sylar. Back, final installment with our guest, Mr. Trest. This time, we're gonna play a little rapid fire question. I just did it this time this particular way because it'll simply just work easier, and that way we don't have to take too much time thinking about the answers to these questions. But this will give us a little bit of insight to Mr. Trest's mind, what his preferences are, what his options are, and where he wants to go, where he wants to be. So let's go ahead and get started. Top 10. Here we go. But before we get started, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I could use your support. Please support me. I can support you if you support me.
Do it.
Do it now. Right there. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump it off. First question. Favorite dancer? I'll let you in with it. My favorite dancer is Rashad. Rashad, extremely versatile, knowledgeable. Been in the game for quite some time. I've been watching him for a very, very, very long time. It was weird because one of my peers, this guy named Camo, he actually turned me on to watching Rashad a very, very, very long time ago. And he kind of, the first thing he said, he was kind of like, I feel like he's got the same, like, you know, creativity. He's like the Black Frantic. I was kind of like, Black Frantic? I was like, I don't know about that. You know, but then when I went to go see him, and as he's evolved throughout time, I love his versatility and his natural movement. Like, he understands the concept of, like, in my personal opinion, like the essence of like dancing and this like evolution through Black culture. So yeah, that's what it is for me. So what you got?
Sheesh. Yo, this one was hard, honestly, but I would say it's B-Boy Issue.
Fire.
B-Boy Issue.
Dang, I'm feeling my age. Not a lot of people know who that guy is.
I didn't think you would have known him because a lot of people don't know him, but like he inspired me from like the beginning when I started seeing him.
That's what's up.
Like the way his approach was and the way he kind of just executed moves that were really different from any other B-boy you really ever seen. Like, yeah, still to this day.
He's a part of that, at least in my mind, like there's the, he's part of that generation, like the golden era of Korean breaking. Or maybe you could say the millennial era, because like golden era is like Project Soul and stuff like that, like when they were like undefeated, like early days, like drifters and stuff like that. But they had like Rivers Crew, Gamblers, Morning of Owl, like Morning of Owl, that's the crew that Issue was a part of and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's a classic, bro. That's classic. If you haven't seen them, you know what, I might just drop you got right there. Bam. B-Boy Issue for you. So, dope dancer. All right, Your favorite place that you've danced at? Mine was Montreal, Canada, when I went there. I met some of the crumpers, and they didn't speak a lick of English. I tell people this story all the time, but it's funny, like, other countries do look at us like, I don't want to say like they kind of look at us like targets, but I do know that like other countries do think Americans are very egotistical, very prideful. And so when I got out there, they didn't speak a lick of English. Luckily, 7-Star and Taminator were out there, and they were just like, oh, rounds, go rounds, and you dance. And so I got out there in session with them a couple of times, and they're really bad about it. Like, they don't speak that much English and stuff like that, but they know about crump. Like, and they said, he said, one of the ladies came up to me and said something in French, I believe. And I said like, and I thought they were asking me how long I've been dancing. I said like, oh, like 12 years. And I looked at Taminator and I was like, what did he say? What did he say? He said, oh, what's your name? Oh, my name is Sylar. I've been dancing for 12 years. She's like, oh, okay. So yeah, but I just love their energy out there.
That's in Canada.
Yeah, Montreal, Canada. Love it.
I see some dancers from over there. They're actually really cold.
Yeah. Go to Montreal.
CC and
Toronto's overrated. I don't care what nobody says. So who you got as your, or what do you have for your favorite place that you've danced at?
Never been danced out of the country yet, but Vegas I feel like is my favorite in the country.
Nice.
Every time I went there, it was good energy, you know, and I kind of had an experience dancing there without battling, and an experience dancing there while battling. And it was like each time I did it, it was like, wow, like, it was welcoming. They were very welcoming to my abstractness, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's cool. You guys are fucking with it. You guys fucking with the kid, and I was like, all right, bet. Like, I let myself kind of let loose in a lot of occasions, and you know, it was very accepting, and it's like close to a lot of other central areas up in that area, like close to LA. It's kind of easy to kind of get out, and the mountains are beautiful.
Oh yeah,
the mountains are beautiful. Yeah, so I think that's my favorite place to dance.
Dope. Competition you would like to win? For me, I'd like to win EBS. Plain and simple. So it's a European bug session. It's out in Germany. Yeah. I would definitely love to win that.
It's crazy to see how
that's
far crump expands.
That's where Todd Eyes and B-Boy Jr. battled. That was at that's when I was at. So,
shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy how far crump expanded that far.
Yeah, bro. It's worldwide, bro.
It's worldwide.
No. What you got for a competition you'd like to win?
I want to win the Summer Dance Forever. Like,
oh man.
I want to win Summer Dance
If they had a crump session or crump part, for sure. That's definitely on my list. The energy in that competition is fucking
so
unmatched.
Good. And they like approach it differently. You know?
Oh yeah.
They kind of do it differently, you know. Very like, they kind of like make it fun it make it different than just like, oh, you show up, you go battle this guy, you battle this guy.
Yeah. I thought about implementing that. Like, I love the whole walking up to your opponent, like, did you win or lose? I love that, because then you got to face reality. It's like,
you got to.
If you got your ass smoked, let's see how much you contribute to that ignorance.
Right.
Like, so we'll see how that goes.
And the way they pull up, like,
yeah,
I think you win.
Yeah, exactly. You win or you lose. Like, that's pretty much that. So, okay, for sure. Significant loss. Mine was against Solo. That was it was a 1-round battle, but people were like called it like a kill off and stuff like that, because it was just like, it was funny because at that time Solo and this guy named Spartan, they were kind of button heads at the time. So Spartan walked in the room, and so that energy was for him, not for me. So it was pretty much, people were just kind of like, oh, that nigga shot past you, like, you know, to get to him. So
yeah, that was significant, huh?
Yeah,
had some. I had a hard time choosing this one because it was like I have a lot of hard battles, but this one was against Jay Noy in Vegas, and I don't know if y'all know him, but he's like kind of like almost a b-boy, but he does like open style dancing. Okay, he's pretty good, and I was just like, damn, like I tripped one time in the beginning of the round, and I just couldn't get back into my bag. Like, my bag was real tight the whole night, like in the other round. But then this one, I tripped. Like, at one instance, my foot just got caught on the floor longer than it should have. And after that, I was just like, I just couldn't get back into it. And I was just like,
beating myself up because I was just like, damn, like this is like against this guy too. Like he's a really good dancer. Had one of my favorite rounds I've seen in a long time, and I was just like, yeah, like I want to bring it out of him. I couldn't do it at that moment because of that one trick, so I was just pissed off.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, next one, dance partner. Mine, I'd love to be able to partner up with Hong Tan. I'm a big fan. Again, like I said, I did grow up YouTube era when we were still watching videos at 720, 540, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, he's always been an amazing dancer. And I love how he's evolved. And, you know, he's in his 40s and he just won Red Bull VC1 again. You know, I think he's 38 now. So 2 years, he'll be 40 years old. So it's like,
that's a big deal.
To be able to do that at that level, you know, especially with like, you know, all these prodigies like popping out at like 19 and like 20 and even younger than that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, man. What you got for
partner? I got Mr. Chris.
Mr. Chris, that sounds familiar.
Very he's overseas, very abstract b-boy style.
Did he beat Nagin in the Red Bull River style?
Probably light-skinned dude, tall.
Yes. Yeah, that's him.
He's like a spring. Sometimes he like springs himself up and just falls into like.
He did because he had that teddy bear Red style. He was carrying the teddy bear. He battled Nagin. He ended up, I think he won like one of like the first ones out there. Because I think Nagin won one in Vegas, and then I think he went out to France and then battled, made all the way to the finals, and he lost against him.
Okay, yeah, I haven't really kept up with his stuff, but I just remember seeing him and I was just like, bro, if I had b-boy like power moves and like if I was able to like tap into that like physically, this is what I would imagine wanting to do. And I was just like, I would love to team up with him.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Dream battle. So my dream battle, I would love to see, there's this crew called Kill Crump, and I'd love to see them against the old school SK, which is Street Kingdom. That was run by Tight Eyes. I'd love to see with that, this generation versus that back then.
That sounds like it would be heavy.
It would. I'd love to see that battle.
Yeah.
What you got?
Mine is Kid versus MT Pop.
That's a good one.
That would be tough.
That's a good one.
I think it would really push Kid for sure.
I can't knock that. That's a good battle.
That would be a tough battle. Like if that was to happen, I'd want to be there to see it because it's like, nah, I can't not see that in person.
Yeah.
Video sometimes doesn't do shit justice, you know?
It doesn't. I learned that the hard way when I first was getting into crump. Like you don't really see how intense people were dancing until then.
Right.
So, favorite crew. Mine's is Mighty Zulu Kings. I've always just simply loved that like they've been able to, you know, maintain their dominance and you know their integrity towards the culture. So, yeah.
Well, I was biased. My crew, Floor Trouble, my favorite crew all time.
Fuck with it. Let's go.
You know, I gotta be biased. But outside of them, I would say like I fuck with Floridians. Definitely a good crew.
Yeah, that's dope crew. Got some history there. All right. What do you think your favorite or best style? What do you fuck that. What do you think the best style of dance out there is? Mine's, I'm gonna go with crump.
I'm gonna go with
crump.
He's not choosing nothing.
I'm gonna go with crump. Like popping is very, very close, and that's actually the first style of dance that I really went and researched the history of it like that. Like I've always been a breaking fan. Breaking was number one. That's where I started. And I watch. It's funny because my algorithm on YouTube produces more breaking than it does any other genre of dance, despite the fact that I spend all my time in crump. But popping, I love like how animated and how creative you can be. I do love the storytelling in it, but just crump to be able to, you have more time. I do like the fact that you have pre-selected battles and like there's no cutting off the round. Popping, usually when you battle, you got 45 seconds to a minute. But crump, you create your own world, your own persona, everything like that. And
less limits.
Exactly. And we can actually, respect other genres of dance. We're actually dancing on beat. So yeah.
Circle back to that.
Right, circle back
to that.
So yeah, that's all I got. So what you got?
Experimental, man. Like,
for sure.
Mind you, a lot of people don't even see experimental as like a style that, they would consider like, oh, this is crump, this is that. Because it doesn't really have a creator. It doesn't have like people that are like, oh, this person was the pioneer or creator of experimental. It's something where it's like, it's within everybody, which is why I love it so much. It's like, it's within everybody. Everybody has experimentalism within them. but then like there's a way to literally separate what experimental is away from those styles while still like respecting what you learned out of those other styles. You know, you can literally go deep end with pure experimentalism, but then still like add your crump into it or add your popping into it or, you know, add what you do into it.
Gotcha. Understood. Okay. Number 9, what's one skill set that you could have that you could take from any other genre of dance? Mine's, I'm not gonna lie, flat out, I'd love to have power moves. I love to have power moves.
Bro, I did the same thing.
Let's go. Power moves, bro.
Same thing.
Let's go,
power
bro.
moves, bro. If I can pull out a 1990,
Bro.
no one's gonna be talking to me, bro. No one's talking to me.
So, bar none, there you go. Like power moves, I got
Power
that.
moves.
And that, I won't lie, that does take a lot of, in my personal opinion, I don't care. Physically, athletically, I think there's no more physically demanding genre dance than breaking. I don't care what anybody says.
That's for sure. That's one of the like, you have to train it almost just as hard as you train fighting. You know, like you have to put that discipline into it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then home stretch. Favorite fighter. For me, I don't care what nobody says. I'm going with the GOAT, the real GOAT. Anderson Silva. Let's go.
Anderson Silva.
For me personally, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, he has the best record or anything like that, but I think he revolutionized the game as far as in terms of defense, striking, intelligence, counter striking. Like the man's IQ was truly up there.
And just staying savvy.
Yeah.
Staying savvy, like just being like in his, like really being playful with that style too, you know, like he.
Not to mention like the way that he was striking people, like I can't, Ben Franklin, I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember the guy, he was a school teacher, and he literally like beat the dog mess out of him. He beat him for the belt, if I'm not mistaken. So it was one of them situations where I was just like, ooh, he's tearing him up. Rich Franklin. That was his name. Rich Franklin. I remember watching him the first time I ever heard Joe Rogan say, I've never watched anybody pick anybody apart. And like he said, you would watch him just jab, leg kick, body shot, hook, leg kick, 2 jabs, got him in the clinch and then kneed him in his head and just picked him apart. Like I'd never seen striking like that before in my life.
And his ground game was solid, like always solid. Jiu-jitsu was always solid.
Yeah, the only person that I ever saw him in a bad situation was Chael Sonnen.
That was still a crazy situation. Like you think about that moment and you're just like, what does it take to get whooped like this all the way through and then to at the end still not give up, still see that light, you know? Yeah. And just pull out a submission anyway.
Got it by a triangle. You know, that's mind blowing to think about, like to do all that, because it's crazy because of course everybody has to have their Achilles heel, and it just happened to be that, you know, Chael's wrestling background was the answer.
It was strong,
it was really strong, and it is what it is. But
got the win though.
Yeah, got the win, got the belt on Mount Rushmore. I don't care. Nobody says if we're going by stats, I don't care. Then I'm going with Demetrius Johnson. Yeah. I don't care.
Demetrius Johnson is truly one of the GOATs.
I have to.
Truly one of the GOATs.
If we are gonna do the whole stats thing, then I'm going Demetrius Johnson. I don't care what none of y'all say. Y'all are not finna. I get it. John Jones is great. He is great. But we're not finna play like this man then got popped like 4 or 5 times. We're not doing that, bro. I'm not letting him slide on that, bro. I'm not. So
once you start doing that stuff, it's like you have to take into account now. It's like, okay, some things you do is your skill. But when you have a certain amount of extra energy that's not yours, would you really have been able to do certain things?
Yeah, like they said when he got popped and then he sat out and he came back the first time when he battled St. Preux, like that wasn't a good fight for him. Like he didn't look as good as he usually did, you know. But and then of course in them times when he was fighting Alexander Gustafsson and stuff like that, got popped again. It's just like, bro, like you look spectacular in those moments and stuff like that. But when he fought St. Preux, he just looked sluggish and kind of fat and stuff like that. It overall just wasn't it. So. Yeah. That's just how I feel about it. But again, I understand top up there, like, well, I mean, we can't even. Yeah,
There's too many factors because you have person with the best stats, Demetrius Johnson, person with like the most legendary record, well, legendary run through is Anderson Silva,
right?
And no one is more legendary than I feel like than him. And then you have
GSP.
That's he's also a legend in his own right.
They said like in terms of well-roundedness, like he's the best.
Mm-hmm. And you have also John Jones can be up there because he's technically never lost, but it's just he got popped. You know, that's really it.
You cheating. You won, but you
cheating.
Right.
And then you have also Khabib. He's not the best, but his record is the best.
Right.
29-0.
Right. He's been one of the most dominating fighters ever. And I don't think it's I think they were saying that he's never lost a round.
Yeah.
That's why I think they were putting him up there.
That's a dominating round. That's a dominating run, like all the way through.
Yeah, I think he only had like one or two finishes, or one or two decisions, but everybody else he finished, like submission or whatever the case may be, or TKO.
I just wish he fought more people that are more like, okay, like this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. Because he only fought like about like 3-4 people that were like, okay, this is a problem.
Right.
Like, we see this as a problem.
Yeah. No, and then if we start the conversation about double champs, and I think Amanda Nunes has to be put up there.
Amanda Nunes for sure. Ronda Rousey, until that moment happened, until that moment with Holly Holmes happened, she was running pretty fast.
Head kick or heard around the world is what they call that. It is what it is, y'all. At the end of the day, we're definitely gonna have our opinions about like who the GOATs are, whatever the case may be, but that's left up to y'all. But thank you for Trest coming up here today. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you rocking.
Thank you.
Tell them where they can find you.
TREST.3 on Instagram. You feel me? 3. And that's really it, really. That's all I really need to get to. You'll see all the stuff you need to see on there.
Mm-hmm. Look out for his next fight. This could easily be the next big thing. So
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. See y'all on the next one. Peace.